So welcome everybody to Webinar Wednesdays, where we discuss remodeling best practices so you can avoid common mistakes and update your home with confidence. Today we've got with us Katie and Angela from Owing. Is that how you say it?
Owings.
Owing's Construction. Today we're going to be talking about color. We'll give you some practical tips on how to choose colors for your home, talk a little bit about color theory, and it's a good thing we've got Katie and Angela here because it would be a really bad webinar if I was doing this by myself. We've also got Brianna here on the line with us, our designer here in Tallahassee. Hey, Brianna. So guys, tell me a little bit about yourselves and about the company.
Well, I've been working in the interior design field for about 15 years now. Been working with Owings for 8 or 9 of those years. I have a degree in interior design and just kind of started off and here we are 15 years later.
All right, nice. Have you always worked in kitchen and bath?
No, actually, I started out in a small design firm, mostly furniture, window coverings, things like that, and then got involved in the construction process of design and loved it. So then I really just wanted to know a little bit more and met Owings Brothers and just kind of started from there, learned as I went.
Okay, awesome. So you are a certified interior designer. You have a degree in interior design?
I do.
I got you. Cool.
And I'm Angela Smith. I've been in the industry 1990. Well, even
you don't have to say if you don't want to.
A very long time. And again, I've been with Owings about the same amount of time as Katie has. They kind of focused on it at the same time when they were kind of moving more towards design build. So we've been doing that, and then and I had a career basically doing a lot of kitchen and bath and less of what she had done, and then so we're kind of opposites. So I'm going to do more of what she's doing, what used to do, and now I'm still doing a lot of kitchens and baths. So.
All right, cool. Excellent. All right, well, let's get started with today's presentation about color. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Brianna, you're monitoring all the comments and that good stuff?
Yep. If anyone has any questions, you can put it in the chat, and I'll be watching that and saying your questions.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you have a question, put it in chat. We kind of went through, you guys kind of know who we are if you're joining us from Tallahassee. We're a design build remodeling company here in town. We just talked to Katie and Angela. And today we're going to be talking about color and how designers think about color and use color, and hopefully give you some practical tips on how you'll be able to use color on your own if you're not working with a designer at this time. So we're going to talk about color theory, which is kind of the science of color, the psychology of color, which is also a bit about science, but also it gets a little more what's the right word? Interpretive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Psychology of color. It's a little more personal.
Right. Emotionally based, really.
Yeah.
More of an emotional, it's a little split
Experience, right.
Yeah. Very personal.
Yeah. A little split between science and emotion. Color combinations, like what color combinations work really well, how to use a color wheel, and then some practical tips for you guys. So let's start right off with color theory. So if you got your degree in interior design, or you probably had to do a lot of color theory, but it's not something that we use every single day. Like color theory, I feel like, and feel free to share your thoughts, but it's good to know. It definitely gives you a foundation to think about color from, but we don't really go to this color wheel every day.
Correct. Right. Yeah. It's almost kind of an inbred in you a little bit too for us as designers, I think too. It's like, you've done it and been through it enough times, it just comes natural.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Well, and there are certain colors that are, designed in the color wheel to go together.
Right.
So it's almost a natural thing in a way.
Right.
Well,
basically.
It feels a little intuitive even. Once you learn about the color wheel, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Right, it does. And it's visually catching either way. So it does, it gives you.
Okay, awesome. Well, we got a color wheel up here. And for those who are watching who've never seen a color wheel before, there's different styles of color wheels. This one's a little different than ones I've seen before, but basically you're just taking colors and putting them around a ring in a certain order, and colors that are directly across from each other, right?
Right.
Tend to go together, right?
Yeah, complementary colors.
And then you've got tertiary colors and secondary colors. Those are all colors that
Are mixed.
go together, and they're mixes of the primary colors, right?
Correct.
All right. Awesome. We're going to come back to color theory in the color wheel in a little bit, but that's the basic concept. Oops, lost it. And then almost everyone, I'm sure, has seen a color deck. If you haven't, if you go to a paint store, they'll give you one of these color decks. Every paint, yeah, there's one right there. Every paint company's got their own version, and the color deck is laid out in a lot of ways similar to a color wheel, and that different pages are representing different primary, secondary colors, and then the hues and tints of those colors.
Hues and tints, which we're going to talk about in a second. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get more into detail on that in a second. But anything else you guys like to add about the color wheel?
It does come useful. They're easy to pick up too, or you can get one online. But it does have some information. This is pocket size, so
yep.
If you're really interested in, it has you can move it on this one to see what, and it gives you different hues and tones and things like that. So it is helpful to have.
Yeah. You can even, Brianna, you're saying you can go to like ShermanWilliams.com, and they have a digital color wheel there where you can type in any hue from their color deck, any particular color from their deck.
The combinations.
Yeah.
It'll spit out primary and secondary and analogous colors and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Sherwin-Williams does a great job on their website too, with showing you the rooms with the colors in them and trim and all that. So that's a great tool for clients.
Yeah, that sort of visual where you paint the wall, you take a picture and you paint the
there's
wall.
a room already. There's what it comes up with when you're even looking at a color. There's one certain room in there, and then you can put different colors in that room just to see how that one particular room changes with different colors.
And they also will give you underneath all the colors that blend and match in some of those color wheel theory perspectives, like at the analogous or the triadic. So you can actually see, they don't say that, but it does let you know what coordinates with the colors that you're choosing.
Yeah, I do like those online tools. My only challenge with them is those colors look a little different on every monitor.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
They do, yeah, you have to get the samples, but it does give you a little bit of an idea of where you want to start.
Yeah, it's a good way to get started.
Right.
But if you look at a color on a screen and go, "Ooh, I want that," I can almost promise you it won't look.
It's not that. Right?
A lot of times it depends too, like how many windows are in your room. Like, is it facing north or south? Like, it's really important to still get like a sample and paint it on the wall before you commit to a whole color.
Absolutely.
Right.
And live with it for a couple of days through a sunshiny day, through a cloudy day,
That's right. Yeah, even if you have a tree outside a window, the light coming through that tree is going to skew a little green, right? Or because it's filtering through those leaves. That's going to
reflect
color.
The nature reflects in it.
Yeah. So anyway, we went down a little bit of rabbit hole there, but
Yeah, we did. It's good though.
it's easy to do with design, man. We do this every week. we try to do these concise little topics, and then we wind up talking for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Some examples of primary colors here used here in a home. Primary colors, very bold, right? You see a lot of primary colors used in things like logos and wraps on vehicles and stuff like that. But using it in a home, we don't use a lot of primary colors on walls. But what do you guys think?
Well, again, it's extolling a mood right there. Like if you see the red, it's very punchy and that kind of thing, and that's an entryway. So and the stairs. So it just it's what kind of mood you want to, and versus that yellow, actually the tone of that yellow is
very
soothing and soft. Yeah. So, I guess it more depends on what shade and tones and things you're gonna.
Right, that goes to the tint.
Yeah.
The intensity of it, you know?
Correct.
I mean, these were
kind of intense, yeah.
Right, and these were done specifically for, with clients' needs, like the middle picture with the bright royal blue wall. That is Pierre there on the wall. That is a peacock print that the client just absolutely loved, had to have in that space. They had 10-foot ceilings, so that intense blue color was really fun with his Pierre. You know, it kind of accented him, and the reflections in the mirror, so you can see where the blue was cooled, and the intensity really worked in that space. So it depends on the client and the space.
Even the mirror has got peacock that looking.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so those are your primary colors, which are what? Red, green, and blue.
Correct.
Those are your three primary.
No, red, blue, and yellow. Right.
Oh, sorry, red, blue, and yellow.
Green, yellow, and blue make
Right
green.
in front of me, and I still get it wrong. Red, blue, and yellow, your primary colors. And then when you mix two of them, you get your secondary colors.
Correct.
Right? So red and blue make green.
Right.
Right.
And in this case, orange, purple, or green.
Yeah.
Right. So these are your secondary colors
Yeah.
that you get by mixing.
Red and blue, purple.
Yeah. So if you hear designers talking about primary and secondary colors, that's where those come from. And then it's not that you are stuck with this lime green as your secondary color. You can change the hue of that with grays and whites. And that's how we get all our different tones, right?
Yep,
Correct.
exactly. Grays, whites, and blacks change the tints and the hues of the colors.
Yeah, so that's what this slide's all about. So you start with a primary color, let's say a blue, that royal blue, that you probably maybe don't want to paint your kitchen royal blue because it's not your color.
Right.
But you alter that by adding white tints, gray tints, and black tints to it.
Correct. So if you want a real light baby blue, it's gonna have more white than blue in it.
Right. And if you can, today it seems like what's really popular is putting gray in colors and toning them down.
Well, I've found too in a lot of designing that, you know, those gray scales just make everything just that much softer and easier to flow and coordinate with. So those gray tones really work well, whether it is a darker room or a lighter room, and there's a little bit more consistency in them, I think. You know, the more white colors have, the more intense they are. So that's where that strength comes from, you know. So gray just kind of makes everything very calm in general. So I love a color with a little gray.
So a pastel, would you say that's a primary color with a lot of white? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we talk about primary colors that have been altered with grays, would you call those muted tones?
Yes.
Common word.
And then maybe with the black, more jewel tones.
There's more intensity in those as well. You can kind of go back. So the gray, again, it's in that middle, which is why I think it works so well for so many situations. You know, color, but just that little bit of gray just makes it all a little easier on the eye.
Gotcha. So we have clients all the time come in, they have a favorite color. So that it's a jewelry color or maybe it's a car color, but they're usually these bold colors that are difficult really to put in a design in a home. Right. But take that color, add white, add some gray, add some black, and now it's the same color, but now you're toning it down or turning it into something that can work.
Less intensity, more flow,
And then that bright color can be your pop in the design at some point.
Yeah, and then you use the pure colors they really like as little accents. Yeah, I think that's a great practical tip for everybody. So let's talk about another practical tip, how to use a paint deck.
Okay, so right there we have Sherwin-Williams paint deck on there, and we're specifically going to talk about that deck a little bit. So, and I have one here. All Sherwin-Williams numbers of their paint, they have a color and a number, and it starts with an SW. For example, this is SW7043 Worldly Gray, but at the top of that has a 245 and a 245C1. It's kind of almost impossible if you're using this deck and somebody tells you, oh, I want to find Worldly Gray. If you just have this deck and you can thumb through it forever. So it's really good to know the 245 number, the 245C1. And the C1, it goes all the way down to,
5 usually.
Yeah, 5 usually. So, and that goes with the intensity, more whites in here and more blacks down here. So this color will definitely blend with this color too, or look well together too.
That's a monochromatic scheme right there.
Yeah.
Which we haven't talked about yet, but that's a good example.
We haven't gotten there, but if you want a monochromatic scheme,
you follow the deck.
Stick to one page on a deck.
Right.
Yeah. Now there is an index in here. So if
Correct.
there's
So,
a color
yeah.
like Jubilee is a
Yeah.
color that I love, you can go into the index to find that number, and that'll give you the 3 digits.
Right.
But the 3 digits on top, and then you'll have the C. Those are the one that's much easier to find on this deck.
Right,
if you're
correct,
just
yes.
spinning through.
Gotcha. So if my favorite color, let's say, was green, but like my favorite color is emerald green, but I'm not going to paint my living room emerald green
Right.
because all my friends would hate me.
So here,
I could find emerald green and then go up or down the scale and find a toned down version of that.
Exactly.
right, that could be the light color, the color of your wall, for example. And then maybe you want a backsplash or something in the darker tone or something.
Yeah. And then I'd use that emerald green for little accents. Maybe I've got an emerald green KitchenAid or something like that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Fine.
There you go. I like that. And then the other thing that's great about the decks too is that, as you go through it, you can see where the greens are turning into blues, right?
Mhm.
So if you want a green blue, that if you're, within this, in here, then it just kind of helps kind of figure out which direction you want to go. I'm looking at these and I really like the blues more than the greens. So it just gives you all of them at one time. So you can really kind of find what's appealing.
Start to dial things in.
Hey, Paul, I also want to add something that a lot of people I feel like don't know is that if you find a paint color you love in the paint deck, you can actually go to the paint store but there's not one close to it that's like what you love. They can actually tone down that specific color. So you could tell them, I want this color at like 75%. And that means that they're just putting like 75% of the mix in there. So that also helps tone down colors.
Yeah, that's up.
Mixing our own colors. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
I know a few designers that like to do that with walls and ceilings. They'll take the wall color, ask the paint company to take that formula, cut it in half, and use it for the ceiling color.
Feeling, correct, yeah.
Or vice versa. It's a way of
Metallics too. If you that's a fun.
That reflective
Yeah,
quality. Yeah.
right. Yeah, very good. Good tip. When just on a slightly side note, I know the big box stores are super convenient. I always like to recommend if someone's looking for paint, go to one of the smaller paint stores, like a dedicated paint store, like the Sherwin-Williams or the Benjamin Moores or the Porter Paints, the PPG, because the guys behind those counters are really good with color, right? It's nothing against the 26-year-old college kid behind the counter at Home Depot,
Right.
but that guy behind the counter at the paint store or woman has probably been mixing for years and years and had gotten specific training, and you get a lot of better advice on product and on color from those stores too.
Yeah.
So little pitch for going to your local paint store
Right.
instead of the big box there. All right, so that's some idea about how to use a paint deck. Color temperature, what's all that about?
So that's the warm versus cool, basically. So your warm tones, yellows, reds, oranges, deep wood tones, versus your cooler colors, which are greens, blues, whites versus blacks.
Blacks, right.
So this is a perfect example that's on there now. You have the deep, warm brown cabinetry in the first pick there with the dark countertops. Now there's a little bit of coolness added in the accessories and the backsplash. So you get a little bit nice balance there, whereas the whiter kitchen brings the warmth in with the warm metal tones.
With the rose quartz in there.
That rose quartz kind of brings some warmth into that very white, very cool kitchen. And then the wood floors again reiterates a little bit of that softness. So it's great to have a nice even combination.
Balance off of each other. Yeah.
Mix the two, gotcha. Yeah, if that was all white, if that had a stainless steel hood and with glass,
it would feel very cold.
It could feel very cold and sterile.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. And looking at that particular picture, they're both beautiful kitchens. Okay, so you want to always mix warm and cool a little bit.
I believe so. I mean, there's some people that just, want to go straight on, but again, I think it exudes the feeling of it just feels cold. You don't feel comfortable in that room as much as you would if you have that pop of warmth in that cool room.
It's harmonious.
Yeah.
It's more harmonious. It just make, even in the white kitchen, that little bit of orange and a little bit of green, just with the oranges on the table, it offsets it and it brings another element in. So in the cool case, the beauty is the simplicity, and then the warmths just kind of highlight that in a nice way.
Gotcha. Yeah, a little bit of contrast.
Yeah.
We were talking. This was several weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, one of our early webinars about kitchen design, and one of the common mistakes we see is people doing everything too monochromatic. It's like gray cabinets, gray countertop, gray backsplash tile, and it just reads, it's flat and kind of
Not
uninteresting.
interesting. Yeah, there's nothing to like focus on as well too. There's just not really a focal point in that. And
but it's hard.
Kind of.
It's real hard for a homeowner to understand the balance, and so that's a really good tip of thinking of it in warm and cool. And you always want to mix the warm and cool a little bit to give you that variety. You definitely can skew it very far one way or the other, just like in these two pictures, but you always want to bring a little bit of balance in. That's cool.
Right.
All right, color schemes: complementary, split complementary, analogous. Where are we getting these color schemes from?
So we go back to the color wheel really with this. I mean, that's where you can get all the information on the different types of color combinations.
Okay.
So the complementary colors are opposite on the color wheel.
So you have
the red and green.
Red and green, right? Christmas. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Like right now we're actually
dressed
complementary. We are green.
Like you guys.
We are.
Orange and blue, right? Complementary.
And if we're really getting into it, we are orange, blue, and green. So we're analogous as well. Triadic.
Yeah.
That's right. Triadic. Sorry.
So we purposely did that today.
Oh, very nice.
Play with the colors a little. So complementary are opposites on the color wheel, like you said, blue, orange, red, and green. The Christmas colors, they're always a little easier to remember. And then secondary colors would be,
I'm sorry, not secondary, the harmonious colors.
Analogous.
Split complementary.
I'm sorry. I skipped to analogous. Yeah, the split complementary is when a primary color is used with two analogous colors. So meaning a primary color next to two other colors.
So like we have red violet, and red orange. So that also makes a good color
Split
combination. Yeah.
So the three right next to each other on an extra primary color. Okay. Yep. Cool. One thing about primary color, when I always talk to people about primary colors, complementary colors, most of your sports teams, if you're a sports fan, most of your college football teams, NFL teams, their colors are always complementary. So if you're ever wondering, that's where you get the orange and blue from the Gators and the pinks and green and all that stuff.
Yeah, each other kind of stand out. It complements them, so they really, you notice them.
That picture that you have right there is, a triadic combination. Basically, it's got red, green, and blue. I mean, orange, green, and blue in there. So that's a triadic color combination, which I did want to like that. That's got a lot of pattern, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work as much. Where that's got too much pattern of it going on and not as balanced as it could be, I think.
Yeah, it's still kind of fun. But
yeah, it's fun.
This is this the same home as the powder room or the bathroom? We got the peacocks there again.
No, it's completely different. Yeah.
Totally different?
Yeah.
Okay. Curious. It's a common theme. Maybe you guys put peacocks in every design you do.
No, we try not to do not too many themes. You get yourself in trouble that way, right?
Yeah.
Don't repeat.
I agree. You don't want themes, you want concepts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Not Disney World.
That's a different tutorial on another day, right?
Yes.
So I can't do a Marvel themed bedroom. I have to do a Marvel concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to talk about that.
I wouldn't say marble is a theme.
Right? It is a theme.
Yeah, so stay away from that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, what do we got going on here?
This is a perfect example of a complementary scheme, right? You have the really cool geometric wallpaper in the blue, the true blue and whites. And then you have the orange accents to complement the walls and really make everything stand out.
Okay, so this is a complementary color scheme.
Yep.
Correct.
Nice. And it's orange and blue without screaming
Orange and
go,
blue,
go
exactly.
Gators either.
It's well balanced.
Right, we did it without the sports being involved. Yeah, right, exactly.
It's interesting here. In Tallahassee, the FSU Seminoles are a big sports team here, the big college team, which is garnet and gold. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of garnet and gold offices and dining rooms and other things all over Tallahassee.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see. And those are complementary colors, just like these are here.
Right.
So it's cool to see a way of doing that doesn't just
Scream the sports team.
It just doesn't scream I'm garnet and gold. It's a little more subtle way of doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, this just happens to be orange and blue, but which most people here would hate because it's a big rivalry.
Right.
Down here, Gators and Seminoles don't get along so well.
Uh-oh.
All right, a couple other rooms. What do we got going on here?
Well, you've got some harmony going on in that bathroom right there. There's different tones of the blue. Or
Yeah, I saw that as like an analogous color.
That's what I was gonna. Both of
because
them. Yeah.
all those colors are right next to each other on the color wheel.
Right. Yep.
Very nice.
Exactly.
You've got the blue, orange.
And the same over.
Yeah.
I believe that's the same as well. This is analogous as well because you've got the purples, the teals, the light grays, the yellows. I mean, they all kind of.
Yeah.
Good example.
This is very soothing, kind of calming. No, not too much contrast anywhere. Is that a sky painted ceiling or is that just the light?
I think it is a sky painted ceiling, sky clouds.
Interesting. This one's easy, monochromatic.
Monochromatic.
Even I can pick that one.
Yeah, basically you have all the same color throughout in various tones.
So that's just staying on one page of that color deck.
Yeah.
Moving up and down.
But this is done very, very well. Monochromatic can be absolutely stunning if it's done the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, a way to get it right would be to have a lot of different tonal changes,
Okay.
To incorporate it into the room. Like you have.
Make it more interesting. Like we were talking about that all white kitchen again, there's no focal point. Whereas if you have like that pillow, the neck roll on that is real nice dark color. So, and the wall is dark on that side. So it
Soothing contrast.
Your metallics are the same tone, but obviously they shine. They have a little different character. So really, even the mirror, right, is that same. Mirrors are in gray tone, but they're super reflective. So I see what you're saying. Even the picture here.
And again, just to reiterate what we were talking about in the kitchens previously, you've got the wood in the fireplace and that little bit of green on the mantle there. Mm-hmm. And again, we're bringing in those natural elements where this room is definitely monochromatic, but just a little bit of that natural element draws your eye and just, it makes it
more interesting.
This makes me feel reminds me a little of like, you ever see the movies like Sin City where they're all black and white?
Yep, it is.
It's like Schindler's List where they got the red.
It does, yeah. It's all black and white.
It really, and so you put any color in there and I think, boom,
it's going to pop out.
A focal point.
It draws you in,
Yeah, all right. So if you're going to do monochromatic, high variation, what about whites though? I feel like mixing whites is very tough.
It is because there's blue whites, yellow whites, pink whites. Yeah. So you have to be pretty careful. I think there's a difference between, white paints versus other white materials.
Correct.
So you could have a nice, like a blue white trim, which is very crisp and very clean and, looking within a kitchen that has a white cabinet that's not quite as white. So then you have a little bit of variation, but it's subtle. And then your countertops, if we're doing, talking monochromatic in white, the countertops with a large vein, right? So we've got the basis is white, but that large gray vein will help to break that up a little bit and, kind of unite the cabinetry with the countertop.
And again, so a lot of, they'll have undertones in white, like with the blues or the grays and the undertones. So like if you have a white cabinet that has a yellow undertone, it's not going to look great with a gray white.
So like an antique white has that warmer undertone versus like a cool white or glacier white.
Right.
So you got to pay attention to your undertones in the colors of white, basically.
Yeah, whites are tough. Yeah. So doing a monochromatic in white that's a tough design. You have to be really careful with your selections there.
Yeah, these days white's so popular in kitchens, white cabinets, white counters, and it can be a real challenge to get those things to to match up.
Blend and make sense. Yep.
Yeah, and then of course we get people call all the time and like, yeah, I just want to, they want to just add some cabinets to their kitchen or something when they say, but it's okay because it's just white, so it'll be easy.
Oh, but the white.
No, that's not going to be easy at all. There's like 200 whites that we have to try and figure out which one they'll go with that. But
Right, exactly.
it feels like a common misconception where people are like, oh, if I go white, that makes everything
It's
easy.
everything.
It's
Yeah,
actually a lot harder.
And I
would
think too, when I have clients and they come in here and they're like, oh, well, this is it's much harder than I thought because you're picking out the countertop to go with the cabinet or whatever, and it's just not. And it really exudes a mood from them. Well, I really, really don't like gray in my,
Right.
I don't like gray, or vice versa or whatever.
Yeah. Or even better when she doesn't like gray and he doesn't he
yes.
doesn't like the warm tones, and then
That's
it's like this the whole time. All right, so a practical tip about all these different color schemes. We were talking in preparation for this, and you guys said you really like the 60-30-10 rule.
Correct. And so I can kind of explain to it, and we were talking the other day about a man's suit. You have a dress suit where you have, it's a gray or black or blue suit. Its dominant color is 60% of that suit or of his outfit, basically, is that color. And then the secondary color, you can imagine it being his the dress shirt, which would be white or blue or whatever that. And the accent, and the accent being the tie is the 10%. So in a room, you can kind of think the same way. Like if you're doing a kitchen, if you the perimeter, all creamy white, and that's 60% of the color is white. And then you have that 30% being probably that green, minty green in there. And then the 10% would be the coppery colors.
The copper and the wood kind of tied, kind of the same color. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that, it blends well and same.
Gives you a nice balance.
In the other room, it's the orange is your 10%. And I would see, I kind of see 60% dominant with the white. And again, like the brown tones, yes, are your 30%.
30. Yeah, I think that's a good rule. Good way to balance things out. Is this one of your kitchens here on the right?
That's Owing's. Yeah, that's an Owing's kitchen.
That's one of yours. Yeah, I like everything about this kitchen except those stools. Those stools drive me crazy.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
You don't want to just ride off into the sunset after breakfast?
It reminds me of one of those riding bars.
That's right. Are those functional pedals?
They're not, but wouldn't that be great? You burn calories while you're eating.
Yeah, great. But these days you've got pedal desks and walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need next.
I think you just came up with a really good idea.
For the hyperactive kid who can't come.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's how I'm going to make my fortune right there.
There it is.
Brianna had a nice tip. She is a big fan of this website, seeds.com.
Beautiful.
Brianna, want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, is Brianna going to talk about it, or we are?
About seeds.
I'm sorry.
I was going to ask Brianna. Brianna, you want to tell us a little bit about seeds?
Yeah, I think this is just a really helpful tool if you're, have a color that you really like, but don't know what colors work with that color. So you can go to this website and pick a color, and it'll give you a nice scheme that goes with that color. And it's not just like the paint deck where it's all in the same tone, but it blends other colors with it.
Yeah.
They're creating the analogous and the complementary and the split complementary for you in a palette.
Yep.
And then they're kind of showing you. They almost always do this.
The second one is kind of an example of a monochromatic a little bit. That's where you get a whole lot of times basically it's a lot of the same color there. Whereas the other one, you've got a little bit
the creams and the
grays.
grays.
Vanillas, like pops off a little bit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and they always do this. They always pull colors from like a nature scene.
Yeah.
Something like it's got nothing to do with the room you're thinking about, but it's a great way to sort of see how those colors blend together.
Yeah.
All right, the psychology of color. How do these rooms make you feel? Red.
Right.
So I think most people would agree. Red, stop. A lot of people see red and they think stop. Obviously, we have a red button on our website. It's just like it's the schedule a consult button. And a friend of mine was saying you shouldn't use red. That's saying stop. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's saying like I'm important.
Hey, here I am.
Yeah.
So you can obviously use red in different ways, but strength, power, energy, danger, some pretty common emotions that associated with red. Now, if I associate red with danger or
You may not want to put it in your house.
Yeah, so why are we using reds in our home? That would be my question.
For a while there, red was a big, back in the 80s, 90s, I guess, with the red dining room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everything was red. Yep, red dining room.
A deep red, yeah. And one thing from a painter's point of view, from an installer's point of view, I owned a painting company in college, so I painted a lot of rooms, and that was in the late 80s, early 90s. I was in college, so those deep reds were very popular.
Yep.
You have to paint, if you're painting a wall deep red, you have to paint 4, 5, 6 coats.
Yep. Or tinted primer helps. Tinted primer helps.
Can help, but
then when you want to paint over it, because those days are gone.
that takes just as long to get back. And then modern paints have shifted, and the technology behind all these materials is always changing. So modern paints tend to cover a little bit better.
They do. And one thing I definitely want to bring up, if you do if you do decide to do red paint, flat is probably the best finish for a deep dark wall like that, because once you start adding like an eggshell or satin finish, you get this really high sheen.
Yeah.
And that can completely just, cause shadowing and really kind of distort the color. So a flat in a deep tone is usually the best.
Better way to go,
Yeah. And also too, if nothing's usually square or the walls aren't
smooth,
flat, and those imperfections really show
up on those glossy finishes.
Yeah, that's the problem with shiny paints, is you better have a real wall. Yeah. Every guy's favorite color, pink. Yeah.
Feminine, that was a good example, right?
Playful, playful, certainly feminine, although not only feminine, obviously. You see a lot of pink but men wear a lot of pink ties and
salmon colors are a little more masculine.
Salmon, yeah, that's true. Salmon's a little more masculine. Blue, I think most people would agree blue is very calming, tranquil. Favorite color of a lot of people for whatever reason.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Very popular right now.
That's your favorite. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's one of our colors of our company.
Yeah.
Us too.
We've got the primary color, blue.
We're right there. Bold. Purple. I don't see a lot of purple really in design, even though it is a nice color.
It is a nice color. It is a little
difficult. Girls' room, you saw it for a while, but yeah, it is. Yeah, a lot of people are not requesting it, first of all, and you don't see it in a lot of pattern and fabrics and things like that as much, or thrown in there as part of
like some design.
Yeah,
you see it in a lot of like fantasy type things because it has that sort of whimsical.
Right.
It does. Yeah, purple's very whimsical.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is a cool color. It just occurred to me that we don't really see it used very much. There is that countertop. Cambria has a countertop. It's our showroom manager's favorite, Annika.
Yeah.
With Cambria Annika.
With the gold flecks.
Oh yeah.
Got the purple amethyst.
It does have it in there.
I just used that actually.
Yeah, that would look great. Actually, with the light lavender wall with that,
Yeah.
You make it work.
You could make it a good color scheme.
Yeah,
lavender is very, I feel like you have to be a little bit more careful with the lighter purples because they become very playful, and childlike. So it's hard to bring a lot of sophistication.
Whether it has a lot of red or blue in it.
Too. And then you're great.
Right.
Makes sense. Orange. Orange is kind of a hard one too. I guess in the Southwest, you see a lot of orange and rust tones.
And again, it's in that natural environment too, So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it is. It's sort of like that's the landscape out there.
The landscape, right.
Yeah, but I don't really see it much down here in Florida.
No, not even up here.
We don't do it a lot.
Pops. I had my hallways in one of my house painted. It was more of a salmon, right? And it was just because it was such a skinny hallway, but it kind of made you feel good walking through that small hallway.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to do in a hallway too, because hallways are typically pretty boring.
Right.
Or you don't think much about them, but painting them a nice color like that
accents
at least makes you think about it when you walk in. Yeah, creates some difference.
It was on the way to the kitchen, stimulates appetite. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, makes you hungry if you walk through. Right. I'm trying to think of restaurants that have orange themes. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that too, because I know like a lot of restaurants use like you know, like you think McDonald's yellow and red because that also stimulates appetite.
Appetite,
That's
right?
why you don't see a lot of blue in restaurants at all, too, because
No.
that's the opposite, because that,
Because that's calming and cooling.
that,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, that's interesting. Green, emerald green. Popular in cabinets right now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That's a recent one, too, isn't it?
yeah.
Like
This
2
is
years ago?
this is like a 2 years ago.
Restful,
That's an
fresh.
intense green.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a more intense green. I will say we've definitely been seeing a big upswing on
Like a gray green.
yeah, like the softer
Mint.
greens.
Gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like the softer blues and grays that we've been doing. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot more of those
That's sort of
soft greens
a
with
seedless
cream.
kind of green.
And greens with cream instead of white.
Right.
You know, because it just softens
Right.
everything.
It's softer, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see green again. Like a green with a cream is a good combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to do a kitchen with that. The perimeter's cream and
It's
then
like
a green.
It's almost like an olive tone, but lighter, like a pastel olive tone
Right.
kind of.
Yeah, it's very soft, grayscale.
Yeah, very soft. Yeah, we've got a few cabinet doors here in the showroom in that color scheme. One of those, I find those sort of softer greens. It's one of the few colors that I see men and women agree upon the most.
Yeah, it's appealing to both. Yeah, it is. It's a good color to compromise on, I think.
Yeah,
Just
you don't
like
see
blue.
a lot of fighting. Whereas with some of the other colors, you'll see it's either a love-hate.
Right.
But with those softer greens, you get a lot of consensus.
Yeah. Well, I think they're kind of
Yeah.
overall they're more appealing in general than some other
Not as
combinations.
jarring.
Yeah.
And easier to go with other items.
Yeah,
Right.
and really easy to work. I like wood tones with those greens. They seem to work really well.
Beautiful. That's the
Yeah.
other thing, the creams and then the woods and textural woods. I think you're seeing a lot of that too, which can add even more warmth.
You get a lot of that organic stuff in it. It goes really, really well.
Biolithic design, almost bringing nature into
Mhm.
design.
Yeah. This is a cool thing that we came across, how to paint a room for different effects.
Yeah.
Paint the walls and all the walls and ceilings all the same color can make a room feel a little bigger.
Right.
Painting the ceiling white tends to make the room feel a little taller. A back accent wall can make the space, longer feeling, but also closed in a little bit. All the walls and ceiling the same color except for that one back wall. It's kind of interesting to see how all these different rooms feel a little different with these different paint schemes. And then a dark ceiling, which I kind of like. I'm a fan of sort of a dark ceiling, especially if a room's got a lot of light in it, a lot of natural light.
You'll see a lot of dark ceilings in restaurants and in commercial spaces a lot more
Because usually they're higher ceilings, so they
Right.
brings
Makes it feel a little more intimate.
right.
Yeah, exactly. And then we don't do a lot of wainscot anymore. But aside from protecting the wall, the wainscot can actually stretch a room, make a room feel a little stretched out too.
Yeah, that looks to me, that room looks huge.
Yeah, that looks way stretched out in there. Yeah, if you compare those two, which is
Right.
supposedly those are the same room. I don't know if this was done in a design program or if they actually just
Painted it and
Right,
took
yeah.
photographs.
It's a lot of
took 4 months and changed this room
Yeah.
nine different
I think
times.
that's the power of Photoshop.
Brianna's building a house or she's remodeling a house right now. I tried to get her to paint a room 5 different times for me, but
Yeah,
it was,
not about it.
Not doing it.
I already painted the whole house myself. I'm done.
That too.
Yeah, it's a work.
His work. Yep.
you did say you did paint one room dark, like one bedroom dark and a very similar bedroom light.
Yeah, I did the 2 guest bedrooms that are the same size and on different sides of the house, and one is white, all white, and one is like a sage green, and they just have a completely different feel.
Yep.
That's the psychology of color at work.
Yeah.
It is.
Mhm. All right, so here's a pretty room.
This is an
Very
old.
very masculine, very formal. What would you guys say about this?
It's a kind of example of stretching the space with the deep colors on the walls too, with the white ceiling too.
For sure, yeah, making the ceiling feel a little higher.
the room is cool and but it's cozy and inviting because it has the cool tones of the wall, but all the wood in it kind of warms it back up.
Mhm.
Right. So that's where that depth comes from and the richness and the feel, and this is all, these are all
intensity of the color in there.
Right. And this is a historic home. So they stayed true to the trim details and accented that. And then the deep tone and the light wall just brought everything together.
Yeah, we feel it's a little bit heavy, but that works in that room because, it's a
the type of room it is used.
Yeah. So the library is good for dark, a bar, study, den, things like that.
Cool.
Want to, evoke that feeling of
bring the wall in
coziness,
a little.
What are some tips? What I always struggle with? Rugs. Picking rugs for rooms. I always find super difficult.
Yeah.
There's so many out there, and it is kind of a pain, looking through that. You can look at it online, and when you go to the store or whatever, too. I think too, it's more of your style too. Yeah.
And I think you should start with a rug, especially if
jumping
you're
off point.
Talking about furniture groupings, things like that. You start with the rug first. Makes it a little bit easier than trying to find a rug to go with what you've already selected. If you're able to start with the rug first, then you pull your other materials from the rug itself, and that'll help. It makes it a little easier to process. And
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I just had to get a new rug for my living room. Man, it took forever.
Because you're trying to match what you already had existing.
Yeah, you're trying to tie in everything else. I wound up just painting the whole living room.
and then that happens.
I'm just getting this one and I'm painting the whole room.
But it's also, if you have a lot of pattern around the room already too, then you kind of want a simpler rug.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Like a jute or an all one color.
One solid color with a little bit of pattern to the texture of the material, but a single color versus a Persian rug like this or a Turkish rug or something like that.
You don't have a whole lot of pattern going elsewhere in that room, so it works in that room.
Yeah. Well, and these are such classic rugs.
Yeah, I was trying to say, it's hard to go wrong with like a vintage rug.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a historical home. It all just made sense.
And wow, what a difference that makes.
And then there's this.
Right. Yeah. So what do we got? What was the thought behind the color scheme here?
So this is a really good example of a monochromatic white on white scheme with the color and interest added in a triadic combination. So you have all the whites, right? And you can see that this was done in a harmonious way. You have a soft, white, warm wall. Your cabinets have a little bit of a warmth to them, not quite as warm as the wall, but it does work. This one works. It's a very sophisticated palette. And then the furniture is in the analogous combination. So we started, basically you would start with the floral chairs and then pull those tones out for your pillows. And all of a sudden this very monochromatic space got very bright, very cheery with, some contrasting color.
And this is like, compared to the last picture, this is a fresh, crisp, wide open, bright, lively room. Whereas
it's very
and rich and
totally very serious room. Yeah.
Commercial, yeah.
This room would be more fun to hang out in if you
have
cocktails or something. This feels like the room I would go to as a kid to get punished or
The timeout room.
This is where you play the blues. And this is
This feels like the room I'd want to hang out. And
this is how you felt when you got out of timeout.
Yeah. This is a fun room. I like the playful floral chairs with the sort of more stark background.
They're very white on white on white there.
Okay, looks like two pictures of the same dining room here.
Yes. Again, example of stretching the space with the
horizontal.
Yeah. With the wainscoting and then the really dark, almost black walls there. It's hard to
beautiful. And then black and white,
and
black and white design. I mean, that's a really good example of no color and how beautiful that can be as well.
Yeah.
And then you add your color in. Yep.
And then little pops of color.
Yeah.
With the plants and the candles.
With the bringing in nature, from the outside.
Very nice. Little basement gym. Someone really likes posters.
Yes. Yeah. So that was more of like that back wall, again, we were talking about changing the way the room felt. So all the walls are blue except for that wall, which is the white accent,
Yeah.
you know, the cream or beige accent wall.
Mm-hmm.
Colorful prints really pop off on both of those walls. So you don't necessarily, if you're going to have an art wall, it doesn't have to be a white wall. If you look
Right.
at the blue-gray walls, they're still popping off of those
The
walls.
darker
Yeah,
tones.
Yeah, nice. And what do you guys, this is totally off topic, but I'm just curious. What do you guys like to do with picture frames? You see a couple different frames here. They're all black, obviously, but do you guys get into that with your clients, framing photos and?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the situation,
Yeah.
you know, and it depends on what you're framing. You know, if it's a classic print or a family heirloom or something like that, we might look at coordinating the matting.
Right.
You know, even so it really, I think that kind of depends on what you're.
The look you're trying to achieve. Like I do collage walls all the time, which is just all different kinds of frames.
Oh, huge mix of whatever.
Yeah.
That's,
I always tell my clients that, you know, artwork is very personal. So, you know, the way I look at something is completely different than the way someone else will. So what I usually say to my clients that ask me those questions specifically is, your artwork should speak to you, whether it works with the room or not. We will make it work. We can coordinate the frame or coordinate the matting or those kind of things so that the artwork speaks for itself. And then we use the other elements to coordinate it into the space and make it conducive.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it is very interesting though how a frame can change the character.
Absolutely. I
The
mean,
frame and matting can change the character of an image or a painting.
you can imagine gilded frames around those and what a different
Totally
room that would
different
be.
feel.
Right, be a little
Piano
different.
room.
Yeah. All right. So this is a cool way to use a pink. Or
Yeah,
fuchsia. What would you call that? Fuchsia? What would you call that color?
Yeah, fuchsia and hot pink,
Hot pink,
actually.
yeah.
Hot pink.
Yeah.
I think, which is, I think it's kind of missing a little,
Warmth.
yeah, in there.
Which is
Yeah,
funny
just feel a
because
little cold.
Yeah.
which is really funny because pink is a very warm color, right?
I think a pop of green in there.
Right.
They
We need a
have-
little complementary, I think.
They're missing that 10% of something
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
sort of tie stuff
Yeah.
together.
You
Yeah,
add
maybe
a little bit of green in that room, I think it would
Just
kind
make
of
a world
calm
of
everything
difference.
down just a little.
Yeah, I got a little in the pillows, but like maybe a big rug or something,
Yeah.
Or a throw, even at the end of the bed.
Yeah.
or a throw. Gotcha. Yeah, the stairs are very stark.
Yeah.
I was thinking of
Yeah.
runner when you said that. Think of fun.
Yeah, the stairs, you almost can't even see them because
Yeah,
it's
right.
all so mono.
They need to add a railing.
It's actually dangerous, really.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely need railing.
Railing.
It's not code compliant.
Yeah.
Where's the railing?
Yeah.
Kids don't need railings. They just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the bed, it's fine.
Oh, this looks like another basement, maybe media room.
Yeah, it's a media room. Now, again, with the dark ceiling, bring it down. Great for a media room. Great for a bar area. Great for your basement.
Create some depth and some height.
Right.
Now, is this a kind of monochromatic scheme, the black and white and silver?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intent.
Got a little bit of yellow in there for your
Yeah.
little pop.
That's your 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, another practical tip: incorporating color in unexpected ways. It would be nice. I like it when people choose a different color than white for trim because 99.9% of all trim out there seems to be white.
Right.
So that can be fun. Although if you're trying to unify an entire home, that seems like it could be a challenge. Like that's why I think a lot of people go with white is because they paint the whole house, and
Right.
that's sort of an element that ties the whole home together.
Nowadays, too, they're much more open, so sometimes it is harder to achieve. But maybe in like a small room, like a powder
Closed room.
or,
A room with a door. I feel like you can change it up. I'd also
Right,
do the
anything
door
separate.
the same color. Though.
I was doing a kitchen in back in 2003, and I ordered my windows with all black, in the interior, and I got a call 3 times to ask me if I was is that what I
Sure.
really
You're 100% sure you wanted that black window.
You want black? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So,
Which
all the
now black windows are a big thing.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. They're super popular.
Yeah, now it's like the thing to do is to have a black window.
Yep.
But yeah, like the crown here, like if that crown was white, it's a big crown.
Right.
That was a creamy white to go with that green. It would look good, but how different would that room feel with that? With a creamy white.
Exactly.
100%, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Feel a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Right.
It also might feel shorter. Like this feels to me like a little eclectic, little bohemian.
Yeah.
If you painted that all white, suddenly now it feels more formal.
right. Yeah, more traditional.
Right.
Yeah.
More traditional.
A lot of the with the same color doors, trim, and walls. That can be achieved in different with a satin paint or a semi-gloss on the trim and still
Just
have the
changing the
same
finish.
color, right? But you see that more in, like, I think in offices and like small TV rooms or something like that as well. I think
Yeah, I actually love painting doors the same color of the wall.
Yeah.
Door, trim, wall, all the same.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
I dig that.
I like when the trim and the doors in a house are like one color and then the walls are another color.
right.
So if you like have a white wall and then maybe all your doors
Gray.
trim are like a gray. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a nice look.
It is.
Yeah, I don't like the three. You do a wall color, a trim color, and a door color.
All right.
Yeah,
To me, sometimes that just feels too much like a bullseye, or especially like down a hallway.
Right. That's
Yes.
a lot going
It's
on.
Too much going on.
Like your eye
It's
doesn't know where to go.
contrasting.
Yeah.
It's contrasting against the white trim.
Yeah. All right, where were we here? So, good practical tip: play around. Break from the ordinary.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
trim
The
and
ceilings,
window.
and a lot of times ceilings are forgotten. You can change a whole room by just painting the ceiling
Yeah.
again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very inexpensive.
Yeah.
I mean, texture, trim, paint. You can do
Yeah.
a lot of different things with the ceiling.
Yeah, like I said, I just painted my living room. It wasn't a dramatic difference. It was like a real light blue, and then I went with that Ben Moore color beach glass. So it's a little more. It basically went from blue to a green,
Right. It's like like blue green.
but totally different
Look.
Feel and vibe.
vibe in the room after that. All right.
And that's a-
What do we go? What do we
but
got
that's
going
it.
on
There
here?
you see the sink
Example
on
of-
that one, and then the windows painted.
Yeah,
There's the black windows.
The black
those
framed
look-
windows. And
painted
then
trim.
mid gray ceiling.
yeah, those look fantastic. And you can do the inside black and the outside white, right? Or the
Right,
outside something color. Yeah, and the gray trough ceiling's nice.
And a few of the window companies will do that too. They'll
Yeah, they're now.
finish it on the the inside black and then on the outside
Yeah.
white.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially like your wood windows.
Yep.
yeah,
They'll
for
do
sure.
that. If you're doing a less expensive vinyl window, I think it's harder.
Hard to do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
They'll want to do one
It's
solid
a
color.
budget buster too, so keep that.
Yeah,
Windows.
that is true.
All right, now we want to talk about just some popular color combinations that you guys like, that you use a lot. Blues and golds. There's some blues and golds for you. That's real fun. That to me feels kind of also a little eclectic.
Yeah, and playful.
And
eclectic,
there's
yeah.
your painted trim, all
Yeah.
one color.
Yeah, and
A
there's
lot of times you're seeing too now blue cabinets with gold hardware.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
It looks really good.
Yeah, actually the kitchen
There's one right behind Paul, yeah.
behind us in our
I
kitchen,
can't tell for sure, but yeah.
navy blue with a champagne pole. Yeah,
And there it is, champagne bronze.
we did that maybe 4 years ago, but
And now look at it today.
people still love it. People are still coming in, and it's a good combination.
Yeah.
It's classic.
What do we got here? Some wood tones and beige.
Yeah.
So these are the more neutral color
Yeah.
schemes, but you can see in a very neutral scheme how still very interesting and harmonious everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the picture on the right, the bathroom picture, it's a large chevron tile.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of texture and a lot of pattern to it. But because it's all in those neutral tones, it gives it more of like that natural feel, like a natural wood. And it makes it makes the room feel,
together.
it works well, and it makes it feel very harmonious.
Yeah. There's so much color variation in this room here on the right, this bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do that many different kinds of wall color and texture and pull it off, but it works really good here.
It's beautiful, yeah. And I love that chevron tile.
Yeah, that chevron tile is cool.
Yeah, it looks like wood.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What is this cabinet here? Do you know? The left picture?
Closer
I
to
don't
it.
know what that is at all.
No.
It's a
It
custom
looks
build.
like it's on this side, and then that's an oak, but it's not, because that's just a deep wall thickness there, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm trying hard to figure it out, but all right, moving
It's
on.
funny when people's eyes go to, right? I never even
Right.
seen that cabinet, I don't think. It's funny. Okay. So here's where you can add, now on the right, it's where you can kind of add some pops of color in a more neutral space, and it completely transforms it.
Right.
That
Baskets in there.
Yep, and this room it's like a taupey beige with a beautiful kind of grayish blue floor, Very, very simple, very neutral. And then when you add that rug and, you know, a few of the jackets hanging and the bench seat, that gives you that contrast and that pop of color. It really makes it eye-catching and interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a fun mudroom.
Yeah, it is a fun little mudroom. You got to make sure you hang that red jacket there every day, though.
Right.
You're doing the whole thing,
Right.
you know. This is a cool green. This is that softer, this
Yeah.
a little minty
Very
green.
big for 2020 too.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of this for a long time, I think. I mean, you know, it's kind of like, I think it's going to kind of take up where the blues are going to leave off,
Right.
you know.
Gotcha.
I think it'll take some time, but I think eventually it's going to come around. You're going to see a lot of those greens, and then I think you're going to see a lot more creams and taupes, not necessarily the gray.
I 100% agree with you on the creams and taupes. I think those are definitely making a really strong comeback. Yeah. And they're beautiful. I mean, they went away for, you know, so long there, like a good 6-7 years at least.
But it got so traditional, and now you're seeing it in a more modern, updated
lighter, lighter colors, a little more, a little brighter. Yeah. I really like the green. We get a lot of interest in this color in our showroom, but people are still hesitant to commit to it because it is different.
Well, it's like the blue a few years ago, you know, it's that same kind of thing.
And now everybody wants it. Yeah.
I think it takes a while. I think people
this is one of the 2020 colors of the year, a mint and a sage.
Yeah.
Not from Pantone, but from other, you know, designers and voted on what the color of the year is.
It's interesting here in this laundry. It looks great with this cool, like statuary marble, but it would look equally as good with a light beige, you know, travertine type floor.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of goes both ways really nicely.
Yeah, well, in that other picture on the left, that was cream base. The chair.
Yeah, and this is exactly the cream on this side, and cooler tones on this side, but it works in both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neutrals again.
Here's those neutrals.
Vanilla, hazelnuts again. So that's another big color this year too. Those walls again. So it's again going away from the stark whites to a little more softer whites
and the grays, the cool grays to the warmer tones.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're seeing that. I just my bedroom. I just changed from all grays to all these tones.
Right.
And I like it's more comfortable. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it better.
Gray could be funny too, because I painted my son's bedroom gray one time, and it looked like a cloud. You know, so it's like it was it's like it was in a rainstorm all the time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Got to be like careful with the gray sometimes too. It didn't turn out. He didn't have enough light in it.
Now there's your natural, gorgeous texture tones. This is, I think, having a huge comeback right now.
Yeah.
And even in painting, you're seeing a lot of oak painted now, and there's kind of a big, you know, flex in that as far as, you know, just the texture of it. You know, where when a few years ago, if you had even mentioned oak cabinets, I would.
No way. Well, because everyone got burned by the pickled oak back in the.
Overdone to the max, right?
You couldn't mention. No, I hate that. I had that for years. Yeah.
Right.
We just did a whole kitchen in. It was an oak with an alabaster solid body stain, which is like
beautiful.
And it came out great. It was fantastic. It's one of our more popular, you know, sort of pictures on social media right now. But yeah, I think that those are making a kind of a comeback.
Yep.
Has a bit of I like it. It's got a bit of a country feel, but it's more of an upscale.
Very sleek, very modern.
Yeah.
It's got the hickory floors. It's got a lot of, you know,
that is a lot of texture.
I love the horizontal grain matching on this.
I do too. The grain match is beautiful. Yeah.
That cost a few bucks, I bet.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You know, people don't do that for free.
No, they don't.
So Pantone comes out with a color every year.
Right.
So back in 2016, tell me why we're talking about Pantone.
Okay, so the color of the year, you know, every year there's colors of the year, and Pantone's a huge one. And 2016, it was rose quartz.
Yeah, which is this color here on the left.
Yep. So I am now. It might take a while for it to catch on in the industry, say paints, you know, fabrics, furniture, whatever it may be, and you start seeing it at that year or later, and the next year and the next year. Like I'm designing with rose quartz quite a bit in light fixtures and
hardware.
Yeah, hardware and things like that. You see it a lot. Even in jewelry, you're seeing a lot more rose quartz right now.
Once the popularity, it stays for a while.
Yeah, and it takes time to get there, kind of almost too. So now you're seeing more of it or in 2018, I was doing a lot of it last year, actually.
Yeah,
too.
the rose
So,
quartz
uh-huh.
and all the salt
Like
folds
2000,
too.
yeah. Mhm.
So you get the color of the year, but then it's 3 or 4
Might not
years
see it,
later
yeah, right
is
away.
when you really start to see it show up in the stuff that you design with. That makes sense.
Well,
And
and it you know, the popularity I think also comes with what people are constantly seeing, right?
Yeah,
You know, you're going to be much more comfortable going with a green and cream kitchen if you've seen 30 pictures of it.
Right. You start seeing it on HGTV, or you start
Right.
seeing it on House, or you see it in your friend's house or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to see that color right away, basically. Out in
Yeah.
the-
Not everyone lives on the bleeding edge of design, which is understandable. We all tend to, you
Yeah.
want to be a little conservative.
Right.
You know, if I could remodel my kitchen every single year, I would go.
Great,
too.
right? I know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So, and so this year the color is, well, it's almost like this blue. It's like classic blue.
Classic blue.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a
So
great
you're
way to use it.
thinking in 3 or 4 years we'll start to see that.
And this color is, again, this is beautiful with the natural wood tones too.
Look at the door. The door
It does
that's
go well.
painted blue again, so different.
You know what this reminds me of? When I was either in college or just after college, which would have been, early mid 90s. This color was huge in dishware. Remember the dark blue plates?
Yes.
I mean, I think every single person I knew.
Fiesta-ware. Isn't that what they called it?
Yeah.
Fiesta-ware?
Yeah. I bet every single one of my buddies had that stack of 5 or 6
They got the
dark
box
blue
set.
plates. Yeah, you go to Walmart, you buy the box
I
set
had
of
one
the dark
face as
blue
well.
plate.
I remember them.
And that was the style that you got, that meant you were stylish if you had that in your.
You were hip.
Actually,
Yeah.
it looks a lot like my living room right now, with all the colors, all around color tone. Again, you can see like the 60-30-10 rule,
Kind of happening here, yeah, with the wood tone, and the beige and the white and the blue. Yeah, nice. All right, big practical tip, and you kind of alluded to this when we were talking about rugs, but let's talk about starting with a focal point.
Just like, okay, so people often ask me, well, what, I don't know what color I
Where do
really
you start?
like, or what, where is start? So basically, well, okay, what color do you like, or what, do you have a favorite art piece? Do you have a favorite rug? Do you have a favorite piece of furniture? Do you have an heirloom piece? Whatever it may be, take inspiration from that, and then, that's your jumping off point, something you really like to know. You can design a whole room around a vase or a pillow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There was a great Kohler commercial years ago.
I was just going to say that.
You remember that one?
Yeah, they came in and said, build a house around this.
Yeah.
They walked in with the Kohler faucet and set it down on the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just finding that one thing
that speaks to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can jump off. I always tell clients, it's almost like kind of reading a story, right? You start here, because people get very, very anxious about that. Like, I don't know where to start, and how do I know what hardware to buy, and what, and I said, well, we'll take it one step at a time. Let's get our big items in. And basically I do that by reaction. I think as long as you read the person in front of you, you have a pretty good idea of what they start to like and what they don't. So then you start showing them more until you get that reaction, and you go, okay, so this is this. So now we have this, and we have the tops.
Yeah, it's an emotional.
It is an
connection.
emotional thing. So then we can say, well, we have our tops and we have our cabinets. So, this countertop just makes sense with this color hardware. And then it starts to unfold a little bit, they like this cabinet style. Well, that tells me they're more transitional. So now we have a transitional cabinet. We'll go with a more transitional hardware. So, and they start to relax after a few selections.
A couple of things under your belt.
Yeah. And it starts to become easier. Just rolls. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's interesting when, going through design process with someone, because they'll say, oh, I love this cabinet door. Awesome. This countertop. Awesome. And you move over to tile, and they find a tile, and they're like, that's it. I love that tile. And now you have to throw out the cabinet door and throw out because they found that one thing that they love, and it changes everything, and you got to go back. But that's awesome, because all of a sudden now now
you know what you're working. Now they're excited and engaged, and they know what they're working with.
They've really found their center. So that focal point can really do it. I like sending people to the cabinet wall or to the tile wall and they say, well, what should I do?
Tell me what you like.
Just flip.
No.
Right.
Flip, and when you stop, that we know that's something that caught your eye, and then we'll just keep doing that until we find the one. And that's a good way to get a jumping off point. But I do find it's not linear. it's very much like 2 steps forward, then sometimes 1 step back.
Yeah,
when you find that
absolutely.
one piece that kind of changes the
Trying
game,
to coordinate everything all together, basically.
and then you move forward again. So that's why I've always struggled with, you know, a lot of designers work remotely.
Right.
So contractors will hire, they live in a different city, and I'm sure they're very good designers, but
Yeah.
I've never understood how you design someone's kitchen or someone's bath without being in a room with them.
I don't like it as
Looking,
I don't
looking
like
at
doing
samples
it.
together.
Yeah, it's not as easy, that's for sure. Or,
Yeah, it's very difficult. We
I mean, I feel like if you know the client, it's a little bit easier, right? Because you
That's
then
true.
know a little bit more. You can
let me see,
read a
and
little
pictures
bit more.
of their home. You know, I
Yeah.
gotta know what
And
the
the home.
space is like, and that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. But you know, if it's someone I
Good
don't
point.
know, that's difficult. Well, I'm actually we're working through one right now.
I'm
Yeah,
having to do more because of the times right now. So I'm having
right.
to
It's a little more common right now because of the pandemic and everything. But
right. And you know, and I'm working with a client right now who is moving from a different state. So we haven't settled yet. The Corona thing is happening, so we have to do a lot online. And what we're doing right now is really doing the things that don't necessarily have to be in front of you. So more of the plan and the renderings and the conceptual stuff.
Yeah.
So that as we're working together, I'm starting to get a better idea of what she likes and what her style is. So while that's happening, I'm ordering samples of things so that when we are together, I'm ready to show her, you know, some actual, you know, real samples, and then we can kind of work from that. So it's all about the process, I guess, and how you're working with each. It's always different.
yeah, that's a very good way to do it, though. Get some of the technical stuff out of the way, which is a little more factual and a little more based on standards.
Right.
And then save that more personal, intimate stuff for when you can get some one-on-one time.
Yeah.
that's
And
a- that's
samples,
good.
we love samples. Send samples.
Yeah, you can always send samples out there.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, but there's so much about materials, not just the color of that material. It's the characteristics of it,
right?
Yeah.
how it performs, and how it perform over time, and
Right.
there's
How
so
it
many
looks
things
with
to talk
everything
about.
else.
Yeah, yeah, it's always a little more complicated than you might think. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of our presentation. Anyone out there has any questions or comments? Feel free to type them in chat, and Brandon will pick them up. But guys, I really appreciate you joining us. I think this was a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We
It
had
was
fun.
really, yeah, it was fun.
Guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to someone who knows so much about color and so much experience in design. If people out there want to get in touch with Katie and Angela, you can go to owingsbrothers.com. There's the website right there. And of course, if you want to reach us, we're at McManusKitchenandBath.com. But if you're in the Maryland area, you know, give them a shout. And you guys have a showroom. People can come see you if they want to.
Yes, we do. We have a showroom selection center with cabinet lines and our countertops, our hardware, tile. So we have a lot of things to get you started.
Awesome. Yeah, great.
Brand new building, new offices. Come
Cool.
see us.
Well, guys, I appreciate it. We're gonna have to do this again because I want to go down this rabbit hole of themes versus concepts.
Okay, let's do it. We have lots to say. That
I
sounds
want to know why I can't do my Superman room. You're gonna have to convince me. You guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Bye.
so much.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.